Hola, buona dia. Good morning, people. Hope you're well. Keeping safe, keeping each other safe, and we're spreading the love during this pandemic because we all need a little bit of loving. Just thought I'd come out for a walk. Hopefully, going to be a nice morning. Hopefully, a nice rest of the day. And something come in my suggestions, my YouTube suggestions, late last night, and it brought back some great memories as a kid, and as a football loving kid. Now, before the days of the Premier League, and before the days of Soccer AM, there was a great show which was on around about the 1 p.m. mark on a Saturday afternoon, so just before the 3 o'clock kickoffs. And anyone my age who is a football supporter, my age or older, maybe even a couple of years younger actually as well, because they didn't stop it until the start of the Premier League. It was on ITV at the time. And it had been going since about 1985 to 1985 to, it would have been 1992. It's quite a long period, but what jokes. Yes, it's one and only Saint and Greavsie, and R.I.P. to Ian St. John, who was one of the hosts in this magical show, who passed away just a few days ago. And my best wishes go to his partner in crime on this show, with Jimmy Greaves, who's rumoured not to be well. But they were a fantastic duo and give many memories and laughter to football fans for many years during that period in which I've mentioned. So I'm going to show you one of the programs, or one of the shows. It was only on for about half an hour, but also as well, what gave me a chuckle, or kind of like, bouncing off each other. Really, one would wind up the other. You could tell, just by watching it. But also as well, looking back, even the adverts during the advertising break started giving me fun memories, and also in the show in which I'm going to show you, it showed the old Dell, which Southampton's old ground. It just also gives you a bit of an idea of how it was before footballers were pampered, when you had the likes of Jimmy Case, the Southampton midfielder at the time, going fishing down his local river, and Don Hutchinson, who went on to play for Liverpool, Everton, West Ham, Sheffield United, to name a few clubs, when he started off at Hartlepool. I'm just trying to think. The North London Derby, action from North London Derby is in there. Also, Glenn McCrory, his defence of his World Championship it highlighted. Boxing, obviously. What else was on there? Oh yeah, the Skol Cup final, which is is the Scottish League Cup. But anyone remember when it was called the Skol Cup final? And it did have little action of when Arsenal Luton in the Liquorwoods Cup final then. It was just random actions really. Oh yeah, Wolves West Brom, Black Country Derby, Steve Bow netting a winner. Just have a look, but honestly, it will bring back some real good memories if you remember watching this duo on a Saturday afternoon. Please enjoy. Before I do put the action on, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Let's get the subscribers up for this channel. The channel needs you, needs your help. And go on, here's the action.
Goes fishing for the big one, a victory over his old team. Bruce Grobler talks about the one that got away. And in boxing, there's a warning to the world.
It's going to come in the world because Glenn McCarty can and will beat Mike Tyson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
But also, Jim,
Good
do
day.
not forget, it is the Skull Cup final tomorrow, the first big cup final of the year.
I have not forgotten, this is the programme. This is
Yes.
the biggest programme ever, isn't it?
So it says, yes.
Official programme, £2. Is that English or Scottish money, say?
Jocko money. as you would
Jocko
say.
money. So it's £4 in England.
We'll be talking about that a little later. Right, two fixtures this week gave a good illustration of life upstairs and downstairs in the Football League. Upstairs, the aristocrats of Tottenham and Arsenal met on a night when Spurs' newsstand was open. It cost almost £6 million. Downstairs, in the scullery of the 4th Division, the league's bottom two clubs, Torquay and Hartlepool, came face to face. The Torquay team was picked in the manager's porter cabin. But the great thing about football is that it can always provide entertainment, whatever the level. Both games lived up to expectations. We start at Tottenham with Brian Moore.
Samways. It's in there! Oh, look, it's beaten there. There might have been a small deflection on the way, but Vinnie Samways gets his first of the season. Spurs with a free kick with Paul Gascoigne. Touched on, another one! Well, Walsh got a touch on that one, and Spurs go 2 up. Richardson curling it in, a flick on. Might go anywhere, Michael Thomas! Arsenal are back in it! His 7th goal of the season. And that could be a really important one.
2-1 at finish, so success for Terry Venables on the field and for Tottenham off it. The attendance of 33,994 produced total receipts of £300,000, a record for a league match in England. Well, those kinds of figures are pie in the sky for the little clubs at the other end of the Football League. This week, the 91st club, Torquay United, were home to the 92nd, Hartlepool United. The attendance was 2,108, producing receipts of just £4,500. From the southwest, Mark Tyler reports.
Think of Torquay and you'll probably conjure up images of summer holidays and faulty towers. But this is Plainmoor, capacity just 5,000, the home of Torquay United, and the venue for the bottom of the table showdown with Bobby Moncur's Hartlepool. Like so many lower division clubs, expenditure here often surpasses income. Every penny has to be spent wisely, and facilities are predictably basic. New manager Dave Smith has to make do with a porter cabin office. So while the top clubs spend millions on new players, how much is in the Torquay kitty?
Ain't going to tell you. No, not a lot, not a lot. I think Chairman always, I think Lou Pope's keeping a bit under the carpet for me, I think, you know. Might be 10,000 somewhere for a player.
Yes, you obviously got to watch the finances and, where we are. I suppose like Old Trafford and White Hart Lane, they'll probably make more in pies than we do in gate money, but that's the position we're in. There's no use making excuses for it. You've got to go on with the job.
With kick-off less than an hour away, supporters begin arriving for the big game. The Hartlepool team coach has completed the final leg of the long journey from the northeast. Last season, 20,000 people from the West Country followed Torquay to the Sherpavan Trophy final at Wembley. Only a fraction of them come every week. The new enclosure for away supporters cost £50,000. Tonight, it'll be used by just a handful of dedicated Hartlepool fans. But don't they get fed up?
Yeah, well, it is depressing, but it's a long way to come. We've made a little mini holiday of it. It's like our 4th day here, and we're on the way home straight after the match, so We haven't had a holiday this year. This is our holiday, and with our first goal and first 3 points tonight away from home, we'll be happy as sandpipers.
We're only a dozen of you, but I know you make a lot of noise,
Oh,
don't
we'll
you?
make a noise. Yeah!
Torquay took the lead after 11 minutes. Dean Edwards latched onto a pass from Paul Smith, and his cross was tucked home by Sean Joyce. Five minutes later, Hartlepool were level. Paul Dalton was given far too much room on the left, and when Don Hutchinson missed the ball completely, Allen was in the right place to smash an unstoppable shot past helpless Vasey. Another defensive lapse contributed to the visitors' second goal. Hutchinson made up for his earlier embarrassment by chipping the ball over the advancing keeper. On the stroke of half-time, it was level again. Lorem, Edwards and Joyce were all involved before Carl Airy applied the finishing touch. After the break, Torquay gradually took control. They regained their one-goal advantage after more determined play from Edwards. His overhead kick fell into the 6-yard box. Kevin Dearden fumbled, and it was the inspirational Sean Joyce who followed up to score his second of the game. Then the goal that would have been a credit to the First Division. Again, it was Edwards who provided the cross, and when the ball eventually fell for Paul Smith, he made no mistake. Hartlepool made it 4-3 during injury time, Allen scoring his second after Rob McKinnon's shot was only parried by Vasey.
Just one of these games, I think there was a lot of passion here. We actually got 2,100 people tonight, and that's about 300 more than we got, so we're on the way up.
Torquay can celebrate, but Hartlepool have nothing to show for a round trip of 730 miles from one end of the country to the other. They left on Monday lunchtime and arrived home at 4:30 on Wednesday afternoon. The total cost $1,956 and 5p. They're still bottom, Jim and Bobby McCarr, with no money to buy players.
And those expenses are more than what the team's worth. Oh, sorry, Bob. No, actually, I was talking to one of the directors of Hartlepool down at Southend the other week, and they were drinking there till midnight, and they got home they say, well, they choose to get home at about 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, why don't you leave at 10, you know, like most teams? He said, well, we get back to Hartlepool at 3 in the morning, and there's not much to do at Hartlepool in 3 in the morning.
Not much to do at Hartlepool at 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly, I think that was the point he was making.
OK. Anyway, getting back to the First Division, that defeat at Tottenham cost Arsenal the chance to take over at the top. Liverpool stay there, despite one of Bruce Grobler's more eccentric performances.
Barnes, here's Beardsley. Sagers is out of possession and a goal is scored, and Liverpool have announced themselves in southwest London in the best possible style. Scales. And Hussein finding Gibson there first. Fashanu in the centre. And Grobbelaar. Oh, and it's a goal! Reached by Wise. Staunton. Sagers, but Whelan wraps it in.
Saw Bruce Grobler off the hook, but as with all his games, it will still be in his video collection.
No, I keep everything, the good and the bad and the ugly ones, and that was really ugly.
Fashanu in the centre. And Grobbelaar. Oh, and it's a goal!
Well, that's not one of Bruce's better ones, but he takes everything on the chin, and he's a great character, isn't he?
Marvellous.
Takes it all with a smile.
Yeah. I mean, his goals against record is fantastic, so, I mean, he loses the odd one.
He's an outstanding goalkeeper, no question.
Right. Well, today, Liverpool are at Southampton, a team who've struck a good run of form. At the Dell now is David Bobbin.
Well, down here on the south coast, it's been a pretty wild and stormy night, but despite the rain, the pitch is looking good. We go ahead on schedule. Southampton are feeling quietly confident about this match. They're 8 matches unbeaten now in a run which stretches back to August. They're playing well and scoring goals. And you know the side has a youthful look to it. But they're held together by one very distinguished senior professional. Liverpool's famous cop in the 60s, and amongst the loyal thousands, a young supporter by the name of Jimmy Case. 25 years later, the beautiful River Test in Hampshire is where Jimmy Case finds peace and quiet.
Come out here, it's a lovely place, and just wander up down the riverbank. And I've done it since I was a kid anyway, so there's nothing new. I haven't just tried it, but that's my outlet, really. I just come out here and get away from everything.
Now 35, Jimmy Case is playing as well as ever. A sharp-shooting, tough-tackling midfield man with the knack of scoring some quite outstanding goals.
Here's Jimmy Case. Oh, marvellous shot, and what a goal from Jimmy Case.
He's played for just 3 league clubs, Liverpool, Brighton and Southampton, where he's in his second season as team captain.
He's a tremendous inspiration within the club, not only on the field but also off it. In the dressing room, he's the one that shows the others the kind of standards that Liverpool set for him a long time ago. He's probably the biggest influence on the game that we have, with his passing, with his knowledge of the field, and he's our captain because of all that.
Case has never won either international honours or a Cup Winners' Medal, but he has scored at Wembley.
Too high for Keegan, but Case is there. The shot by Case to goal! 1-1!
Jimmy Case is still best of friends with his old teammates after the game.
Oh, that's it. You know, like Steve McMahon, whatever. You know, they all know me, I know them, and we all get on with the game in a professional manner. And if you get a one-upmanship on the day, that's all gone in the bar afterwards.
Now happily settled in the south, Case is still part of Liverpool folklore and knows that the Kop will always remember him.
Toshak, Keegan already on the run. And Case with a chance to shoot.
There you go, there was a person come up to me at QPR, just said, could I have your autograph, because he loved watching me at Liverpool. You know, so, you know, these things, they always follow you around, they never forget you.
Yes, Jimmy Case very much the man in the spotlight, but somebody else who might get a headline or two, Southampton's teenage fullback Jason Dodd, making his home league debut. 12 months ago, he was playing non-league football for Bath City. This afternoon here at the Dell, he'll be marking John Barnes. And what a prospect that is.
Thank you, David. Well, it is a prospect, Greavsie. Doddy against Barnes.
Oh, well, Doddy's got a few tricks up his sleeve, don't worry about that.
We'll take a short break. Coming up, action from the top of Division 2, from Scotland and from the North East's own world champion.
How to do it all, do it? Week in, week out, the Do It All computer price checks over 200 different DIY prices and gives you this price promise. If you find anything cheaper elsewhere, we'll refund the difference. Price check. That's how Do It All do it.
Drum. Work, hard. Drum. Male. Body, skin, hair. Drum. Work, most.
Drum is a new range of men's toiletries with an edge.
Right, I'm off. I'm not working hard enough.
Where are you going?
I'll show you where. Come on.
At Barclays, the money you save goes to work. Millions of people save with Barclays. In fact, we have twice as many savers as borrowers, and more ways to save than you ever thought. If you want your money to do more work, then we believe you're better off saving with Barclays.
The second division is promising to be a marvellous competition this season, with some big clubs lining up for promotion. But missing out at the moment are Stoke City, a club with a First Division pedigree. Things could change after their key signing this week, though, as Martin Tyler explains.
Alan Ball never lacked passion in a managerial career which was interrupted by the sack at Portsmouth. Now, after what he calls his rehabilitation at Colchester United, he's the new coach and cajoler at Stoke City.
Good habit, straight away, otherwise you'll get caught.
If anybody who saw me play, that's the way I am in life. I try to give 100% in everything I do. I expect players who work with you and under you to give you 100%. You can't beat hard work at any level. And I don't think that's been a hard taskmaster. I think it's asking people to earn a fair day's pay.
It took Stoke until last Tuesday to register their first league win of the season. Gary Hackett after 7 minutes in a 2-1 triumph over West Bromwich Albion. Wayne Biggins struck the second 12 minutes before half-time to create a fresh mood for a fresh coach. So why has manager Mick Mills picked Alan Ball to be his right-hand man?
Why Alan? Because I have every admiration for the way he goes about his job. He is a worker. I like workers. He's very passionate about the game, and I like people that have got passion as well. And he's got a good track record, and I think he's a good motivator as well. And I think that we can build a very good team off the pitch and make sure that the team on the pitch responds well to it.
That's us out of the running, saying he likes workers and people. I mean, got no chance with us.
You lost your passion then.
I've lost the capacity to work, I think. It's the business, you know, it drives you that way.
A good signing nonetheless for Stoke. I think Ball will do a good job there. Just, I think, the man they needed.
Yeah, he's a motivator, isn't he, Alan Ball?
Right, well, Stoke are away to Division 2 leaders Sheffield United this afternoon, but the big game is at Ellen Road. Leeds against Wolves. Leeds are third, but Wolves are the team in form. 16 points from the last 21. 2 victories came this week. Peter Brackley reports.
It was West Bromwich Albion rather than Wolves who dominated early on at the Hawthorns, leading through this excellent volleyed goal from player-manager Brian Talbot. But then a controversial Wolves equaliser, deflected shot from ex-Albion player Robbie Dennison just before half-time. When Albion's Tony Ford was fouled by Andy Thompson 10 minutes from the end, Albion had the chance to restore their lead. But Bernard McNally's penalty was magnificently saved by Mark Kendall. Then, with just 2 minutes left, inevitably Steve Bull reminded us yet again of his prodigious goal-scoring talent. The winning goal for Wolves, and this, of course, against the club that sold him. 4 days later, against Port Vale, Bull was on the rampage again, this time in tandem with his front-running partner, Andy Much. Bull providing the cross, Much the finish, and this with only 70 seconds gone. For a while, Port Vale threatened a recovery, but then with just over 10 minutes of the first half to go, Bull struck again to complete a sweeping move from Wolves. Bull's 10th goal of the season, setting them on course for a 2-0 win. Early days yet, but for Wolves in this mood, promotion from 4th Division to 1st in consecutive seasons could yet be on.
Well, they're quite a partnership, aren't they, Bull and Much, Jim? And, you know, when you look at Bull there and he scored goals at all the levels he's played, you know, Bobby Robson now, I think, has got to include him in his build-up games.
Well, first of all, they are a good partnership, and it is said that if you've got to buy one, you've got to buy the other. I don't know, I'm not a manager, but certainly Steve Ball has got to be thrown into the England squad. I mean, we lack goals now. He's got to be in the England team. He's got to be given a chance.
Well, I think if he's given a chance, at least we'll find out, can he play at that level? I mean, he may not be able to do that.
I don't know, but he knows where the goal is, and there's a lot of England players playing at the moment that don't, and at least Steve Ball knows where that is.
It's worth, looking forward to that one. Right, in Scotland tomorrow, it's the final of the Skull Cup. And for the third successive year, it's between Rangers and Aberdeen. For Ray Wilkins, it could be his last big game for Rangers. There are stories today that he's coming back to London. Well, will he be in the winner tomorrow, or will it be third time lucky for Aberdeen?
Delightful little ball forward. Here's Cameron on his left foot.
Aberdeen's semi-final success over Celtic has given a major Scottish stage to a 26-year-old Liverpudlian who's still an unknown in England. Paul Mason was rejected by Everton and Tranmere before he was rediscovered in Holland, where he'd gone to look for manual work, just like the lads in the Auf Wiedersehen Pet television series. Was he surprised that Aberdeen signed him from the Dutch club Groningen?
I was very surprised because when I was growing up in Liverpool, Aberdeen were always a top club in Britain, and when he showed interest I thought, hey, the big stars there, I'm thinking I'm going to be playing with them, but it's worked out okay.
Oh, well, he's important to me in the respect this season with me not scoring. Most of the goals I've supplied this season have been for Paul. So, although sometimes I say that I need a striker to take the pressure off me, Paul's been able to do that in most of the games for us, especially early on.
Charlie Nicholas hopes that the big occasion of the Skull Cup final will stimulate his scoring skills as it did in the equivalent English competition, the Littlewoods Cup in 1987. It was Charlie who caught out the favourites Liverpool in Arsenal's 2-1 success. But the Scouser in the Skull Cup final tomorrow is alongside him as Aberdeen look for a recipe to beat Rangers, which has been beyond them in the last two finals. The Nicholas-Mason understanding is an important ingredient.
I hope so. It's not just us two though. I think it's the whole team. If we're playing as we can, we're not threatening nobody. Just hope that we get our game going on Sunday. After getting beat twice last 2 years, not nice. So it'd be good for the supporters if you can get a win against Rangers.
Now, I believe you've also played with a certain Ian St John.
Not Ian St John, the son, the younger one. I was playing with him when I was at Tranmere and in the amateur team. We had a good time together, a good laugh.
What sort of player is young St John? Better than his father?
Yeah, much better than his father, no problem.
Yeah, that's a bit strong, Saint. I mean, he's got to be a better player than you. I mean, you're coming on to 64 now. I mean...
42.
Oh, 42, sorry.
42.
But I understand he's quicker than you, except when it comes to the bar, getting to the bar first.
Now, listen, get back to this match tomorrow. This should be a cracking game, Jim. I shall be there working on the match.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you'll be there working on the match. I should be in England not being able to see it because they're not showing it. But never mind, we both want Aberdeen to win, don't we, Saint? And I can say that because I'm not going up there.
Well, I have to be impartial, of course, working on a game as I am, Jim.
Yes.
I'll leave you with your little tip. Right, anyway, as I say, viewers in Scotland can see the action tomorrow. Skull Cup live in the afternoon at 2:30. There's also live football in the Granada and Central regions tomorrow. Manchester City against Aston Villa is a First Division special at 3 o'clock. And you can see various recorded football programmes in the Anglia, TBS and Yorkshire regions. Check details in the TV Times or newspaper. Well, next week, of course, the match is back this season with a new feature. This is a good one. You can send off for the official matchday programme and you can have it with you as you watch.
Mind you, none of the players will be like what's in there.
I know, there will be a different team in there. But anyway, it's Liverpool against Spurs next week. The details are in this week's TV Times on page 23. Right, after the soccer's over today, there's a big boxing date, the IBF World Title fight in Middlesbrough. Glenn McCrory, the local hero, defends his World Cruiserweight title against the South African Cesar Makhathini. Here's Jim Rosenthal.
Well, it's not Madison Square Garden or Las Vegas, but make no mistake, there's a real world title buzz around the borough at the moment. The challenger Makhathini is something of an unknown quantity, but Makhathini coming on bang on the limit. A bit of a scare for McCrory, but he's made it at the second attempt. Make no mistake, though, Gentleman Glenn is a very big figure in these parts.
Nearly 5 months ago, Glenn McCrory became the Northeast's first world champion with a unanimous points verdict over the Kenyan Patrick Lumumba. McCrory was fighting virtually on his own doorstep. He was inspired by massive local support. He became the International Boxing Federation's cruiserweight, that's 13 stone 8 champion. Tonight, 25-year-old McCrory puts his title on the line for the first time. Outside the Northeast, he hasn't had the recognition or the riches that he might have expected. Both must come if he keeps winning. McCrory meets the South African Zulu, Caesar Makatini, in a circus tent outside Middlesbrough's Eston Sports Centre. The capacity is 4,500 and they're all geared up for another very noisy night. 3 years ago, McCrory was close to quitting. He was an uninspired heavyweight, getting knocked over and heading for the scrappy.
But I came through it all, and it was all a valuable lesson. As I say, I've been beat, been on the floor, and I've come back to prove that I can be the best in the world. And I think that's a lesson for everybody. I thought when I won the world title, that would be, I'd reached the goal that I'd set out as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and I thought things would just take care of themselves. I'd have secured a future for my family. Unfortunately, as of yet, that hasn't happened. The big TV or the sponsorship and all the rest of it hasn't come yet. But I'm sure it will. I've just got to keep winning, keep on my path, and mainly, I'm in it for me, for the feeling that I get and the happiness I get out of it. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm happy.
I've heard it said about you that you're almost a bit too gentle, a bit too nice to be a world champion.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a gentleman, and I think that's a thing lacking in sport and in everyday life. And my family brought us up that that's the best way. It's nice to be nice. So, but in the ring, I'm the Northern Warrior. So I got to do my stuff in the ring. I've got a title I've worked very, very hard, 13 years to get, and I'm going to do everything humanly possible to keep it as long as I possibly can.
It's always dangerous in this game to look further ahead than the next fight, but you have been mentioned as the man who is going to beat Mike Tyson.
Well, it's a nice dream, and when I was 13-year-old, I dreamt of being a world champion, and I've fulfilled that, and now I dream of beating Mike Tyson. I've been in the ring with him. I've done 96 rounds with him, so I have good experience. It's not all just baloney.
He will be the champion of the world. Mark my word for it, because it's going to shock the whole England and the whole world. It's going to tumble the world, because Glenn McCrory can and will beat Mike Tyson.
I feel I'm the best cruiserweight in the world. Obviously, I've got to keep that title. If Carlos de Leon or any of them guys want to fight us, and we've issued challenges to all of them, if they want to come on in and have a shot, that's great. I'm ready, willing, and able. But if they don't, well, 2-3 more fights and let's get done with Mike Tyson.
Do you think we're going to have another wild night?
It's going to be a wild night. Wild thing.
And you can see the action on ITV tonight in an international sports special at 10:20. McCrory versus Makatini and all the First Division goals of the day.
Marvellous. I dreamed of fighting Mike Tyson once. I woke up with a terrible headache.
I'm looking forward to that fight. Seems a nice guy, McCrory. I'm looking forward.
He does. Well, there's been gentlemen, Jim Corbett. Oh, a lot of boxers are nice guys. Frank Bruno, no problems.
Now, Jim, well, that was on. We had a phone call regarding the programmes that we mentioned for the big match. Yeah. Now, seemingly, it's not in this week's TV times. That's in last week's TV times.
I thought Terry Venables was looking younger.
OK, now listen, did you see the Queen's Park Rangers have signed triplets from Dublin?
Have they?
Yes.
Irish triplets?
Irish triplets.
Really? One's 14, one's 15 and one's 16. Good luck to you, lads.
The Farley
brothers. Well.
The Farley brothers. Good luck, lads. And good luck tonight, too, to the IBF World Championship fight, Glenn McCrory. Well, that's it for this week. Join us next Saturday for more football highlights. We'll see you then.
Cheers.